Okay, so you are not going to believe this one. This is one of those stories that makes you wonder if you've slipped into an alternate universe.
No, yeah, this one's a doozy.
So we're talking about Diddy, right? Sean Combs, the music mogul,
Yeah.
the guy with the Midas touch, and a legal situation that's gotten seriously weird with the entrance of none other than Tokyo Toni.
You said it. It's like watching a car crash in slow motion and you just can't look away.
And to top it all off, she chooses to defend him with a baby oil-soaked freestyle rap on Instagram Live.
You can't make this stuff up.
Honestly, in all my years of covering these kinds of stories, I've never seen anything quite like it.
It's like a PR nightmare mixed with a fever dream.
Right. So for our listeners who might not be as well versed in the world of celebrity chaos, let's take a step back for a second. We're
Yeah.
talking about Sean Diddy Combs, right? A titan in the music industry, successful entrepreneur, the kind of guy who practically defines success in hip-hop.
Absolutely. And he's built an empire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But recently, he's been hit with some very serious accusations. There's this ongoing federal case against him, along with a string of lawsuits alleging some pretty damning stuff.
And it's important to be clear here that these are still allegations. They haven't been proven in court.
Right, exactly, which is why this whole situation with Tokyo Toni is so bizarre. I mean, this is Blac Chyna's mother, right? Known for being, shall we say, a little outspoken.
To put it mildly.
Yeah, but here's the thing. She's not just some random person sounding off on social media. Her daughter, Blac Chyna, was involved with Tyga, who signed to Diddy's label. So there's a history there, a connection that runs deeper than just casual observation.
Which makes her decision to defend Diddy so publicly and in such a strange way all the more intriguing. Like, what's the angle here?
Okay, so we've got history, we've got loyalty, but then she goes live on Instagram. And it's not just a statement of support, it's full-on performance art. She's dousing herself in baby oil and launching into a freestyle rap dedicated to defending Diddy.
And this is where it goes from interesting to, like, what is happening right now?
It's like a car crash in slow motion, and you just can't look away.
I'm just trying to imagine being a fly on the wall in that room when she decided this was the way to go.
Right. Like, who's advising her?
Maybe nobody. Maybe this is just pure unfiltered Tokyo Toni.
Which honestly might be the most likely explanation.
Probably.
Right.
So let's dive into what she actually said in this baby oil-fueled freestyle, because that's where things get really interesting. So picture this, right? Tokyo Toni's on Instagram Live, glistening under the glow of her phone's camera, and she drops this line: "Every celebrity in the world and the United States points their fingers to a man that they know Ben did this 5, 10, 15 years ago."
Wow. Okay, so she's not holding back at all.
Not even a little bit. It's like she's throwing a grenade into the whole conversation.
And implying that everyone's got something to hide.
Right. It's that classic whataboutism tactic.
Right.
Trying to deflect from the accusations against Diddy by saying, hey, everyone else is doing it too.
Which is a dangerous game to play because even if it's true, it doesn't really address the specific allegations at hand.
Exactly. And legally speaking, it doesn't hold much weight. But in the court of public opinion, those kinds of statements can have a real impact.
They plant seeds of doubt.
Exactly. And then it gets even more intense. She goes on to use a very, very specific phrase. Let's just say it's about as graphic and disrespectful as it gets. And then she adds, "You shouldn't have been there, puffy red me."
I mean, it's just mind-blowing that she would say something like that so casually.
I know. It's incredibly insensitive and frankly disturbing, especially given the seriousness of the allegations we're talking about.
It makes you wonder, what's the end game here? Is she trying to silence potential victims? Is she so blinded by her loyalty to Diddy that she can't see the forest for the trees?
It's hard to say for sure, but one thing's for certain, those kinds of statements have the power to do real damage regardless of her intent.
Because even if someone's just listening to that and they're not even sure what they believe, it plants those seeds of doubt.
Exactly. It muddies the waters. And that's what makes this whole situation so fascinating and so troubling at the same time. We're seeing how public opinion, this force that's often driven by emotion and speculation, can collide with the legal system, which is supposed to be based on facts and evidence.
And in a world where everyone has a platform, thanks to social media, that collision can be deafening. It's like everyone's shouting their opinions at the same time, and it's hard to know what to believe.
It's information overload, and it's easy to get swept away by the loudest voices, even if those voices aren't necessarily the most informed or the most accurate.
So how do we navigate that? How do we make sense of a story like this, where you've got these serious allegations swirling around, but then you've also got someone like Tokyo Toni injecting this bizarre, almost carnival-like atmosphere into the whole thing.
Right. It's like a legal drama crossed with a reality TV show.
Yeah, it's like trying to have a rational conversation in the middle of the circus.
Exactly. So how do we even begin to unpack this? Where do we go from here?
Well, I think the first step is acknowledging the elephant in the room, which is that we can't just ignore Tokyo Toni's antics.
Oh, absolutely not. Love her or hate her. She knows how to make headlines. And this whole baby oil drenched spectacle, it's got people talking.
It definitely worked on that level. I mean, we're talking about it, aren't we? But it also raises some serious questions about how we consume information, especially when it comes to sensitive topics like this.
It's like you said earlier, it's about the court of public opinion versus the actual court of law and how those two things can sometimes be at odds with each other.
And how easily we can get caught up in the drama, the spectacle, the sheer weirdness of it all, and lose sight of the actual facts.
Which is exactly what someone like Tokyo Toni wants, right? She thrives on chaos, on stirring the pot.
And whether she believes what she's saying or not doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because she's still shaping the narrative.
Right. She's still influencing how people perceive this whole situation, and that's a powerful position to be in.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's a reminder that we can't just passively consume information, especially in a world where it's coming at us from all directions.
We have to be critical thinkers. We have to ask ourselves who benefits from us believing a certain version of events, and we have to be willing to dig deeper than the surface level.
Because the truth is rarely as simple or as sensational as it seems on social media.
Exactly. It's easy to get caught up in the outrage, the gossip, the baby oil-fueled freestyles, but we owe it to ourselves to do better than that.
Well said. So if there's one thing I hope our listeners take away from this deep dive, it's this. Don't let the noise drown out the facts. Don't let the spectacle distract you from the truth.
Because in the end, the truth is what matters. And sometimes finding it requires us to look beyond the headlines, to question what we think we know, and to be wary of anyone who claims to have all the answers.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So on that note, thanks for joining us for another deep dive into the wild world of celebrity chaos and legal intrigue. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and don't forget your critical thinking caps.